Okay, hi guys, welcome to the Top Bins Football Podcast. Myself, Josh, speaking to Skunda over the phone. We're going to discuss some big talking points from the weekend's Premier League action. And we're going to start at St Mary's, where Southampton drew to Chelsea. Southampton on the back of six straight defeats. Chelsea unbeaten under Thomas Tuchel. Looked like a changed side, really. So 1-1 draw. They would have been disappointed with that. Southampton would have been happier. But we want to talk about a main incident that happened in that match. Callum Hudson Odoi, when he was brought on at half time, then taken off. Strong management, to say the least. Skunda, when you first heard about this, what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction was that, wow, it's a big decision to make, even for a manager. And obviously he's got to make sure he gets these types of decisions right, because if he doesn't, then it could really affect him, because the players may not trust him, fans might not understand, and the media will 100% jump on him. And obviously Chelsea didn't win the game against the Southampton team, who've been in very poor form. So
could have lost it as well. To be fair, that would have. I understand what you mean. That would have put him under big pressure.
I mean, Chelsea were dominant in the game overall, and Southampton did, come away with a goal that sort of came against a run of play.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure really. It's a big decision to make, and he's only been there for not too long now, so maybe he's just trying to.
That's what. That's what a lot of people were saying. A couple of analysts that I was listening to about the game, they were saying that it's more of a risk because Tuchel hasn't been there long. He's only been there for 2 weeks, and he's made a huge decision like this. I just don't get it. And the thing is, he praised Callum Hudson. I'm just reading something now, actually. Like latest news, Callum Hudson Odoi praised by boss Thomas Tuchel. So it's really strange. I mean, the thing is, he really trusts in this player. This is a player who's started all the games under Tuchel so far. He's been a big player for him. And then, he gets half an hour against Southampton. Obviously, he gets taken off because Tuchel wasn't happy with him. Probably didn't do what he was asked to do. I don't think I think that was the reason. But can you not argue that having put him on, then taking him off, that maybe shows that he's doing that with a trusted individual? Like, if he didn't trust someone as much, then he wouldn't be doing that. If that makes sense.
Sorry, say that again.
So because he's put so much faith in Callum Hudson Odoi, and because he believes that he's an important player, obviously started all his games under him so far, he doesn't want to be seen as someone who's giving too much favouritism away. He wants to be fair with Hudson Odoi, and therefore taking him off is a strong decision, and he did that because of his strong relationship with him.
Maybe. Yeah, I can see that point. I mean, I feel like he also maybe. Hello, Joey.
Joey Wilkinson's joined us here. Joey Wilkins has joined us.
Joey Wilkins has flied into the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Top Bins podcast.
Hello, Joey. You've come into this call just at the point where myself and Skunda were discussing the Callum Hudson Odoi substitution in the Chelsea match against Southampton, and we're just discussing Tuchel's decision and any ramifications it could have. Obviously he only got half an hour. He brought Hudson Odoi on at half time, took him off again, wasn't happy with what he was doing. So Skunda, finish your point, and then I'll go on to you, Joey. What do you think?
All right, go on. Yeah, all right then. Go on then.
Basically, I feel like it's also partly down to maybe Hudson Odoi might have, maybe according to Tuchel, has got a bit too complacent. Maybe he feels like he's got a right in the team now under the manager, and so maybe he's not putting that effort in. And Tuchel just wants to remind him that he's the one that makes the decisions here. And I feel like it's a very bold move as well to do something like that, because it sets a tone for the team or the standard that you want. That even if you get subbed onto the pitch, you're still required to perform. You're not going to just play till the end of the game.
Definitely.
Yeah, bold decision.
Yeah, I think that it's a bit soul destroying though, isn't it, for a player, isn't it, for that to happen, like to get subbed on and then get subbed off at the same time.
Yeah,
in the
you
same
could argue
match.
that. Yeah.
You know, that's a bit whoa. You know, what have I done? Like, what have I done? And yeah, I just think Tuchel, as you say, Skunda, you say, I think just showing he's actually in charge, and you'll be put on if you do perform and do your job well. And if I feel like you're not doing it right, I will take you back off, you know, and then put another player in that position, which I know can. So
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit unfair. I mean, Hudson Odoi, he's still a young player. He's still learning the craft. And I think he's a bit harsh.
But is it unfair? Is it unfair if the player is performing poorly or is not doing what the manager's saying? Let's say you bring on a player and you tell him, right, I want you to do this, this, and this. They go onto the pitch and they don't do this, this, and this. Is it unfair to then bring that player off?
Yeah, I think it's unfair because he may have tried to do it. If he's trying to do it, but like unsuccessful, then that should be an eye opener for the manager to say, right, we need to work on that part in training.
The argument. So what Tuchel was saying was he didn't have the energy or the attitude, or wasn't doing the task of counter pressing. So those two, energy and attitude, well, they just come with the character of a player. So it's almost as if you have to, when you're trying, you are doing those two things. So in a way, he's sort of saying he wasn't trying.
It's very, very strange, to be honest. The reasons he states for taking Hudson Odoi off, as you mentioned, his attitude, his energy, his counter pressing. I can understand the counter pressing. That's a very specific thing that he's asked Hudson Odoi to do there. And even though Hudson Odoi brought, in my mind, he brought some energy on when he came onto the pitch. Even though in my mind I thought that he may not have been counter pressing well in Tuchel's eyes. So that might have been the pivotal thing, which is why he took him off. But it's interesting his comments after the match on him. And this is something we need to remember as well, that Hudson Odoi, he was a player who started all of the games under Tuchel. Like, he really puts a lot of faith in this guy, and you know, to give him that severe kind of treatment, like kind of harsh but necessary, you know what I mean? You know, you've got to be cruel to be kind in a way. I think that's something worth noting here. Like, maybe Tuchel, you know, this isn't something to say that something bad on Hudson Odoi. This is just something, you know, really harsh to try and help him get better, perhaps.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, he's not trying to cause problems in his own team. There's obviously a legitimate reason why he's doing this. In a way, it actually makes me wonder, like, why it's sort of so frowned upon to sub off the sub. Because if you're not performing on the pitch, if you're not doing what the manager is asking of you, if you don't have what Tuchel said, the energy or the attitude, then, you know, there should be no, you know, the manager can't just be like, well, you know, I did sub him on, so he's allowed to just keep playing like that. No, I don't think that. I feel like it should really be used more if necessary. You know, we're talking about Premier League here.
Yeah.
So whilst it is a really bold decision, I feel like, like you said, it's important to be
cruel to be kind.
Cruel to be kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think it's, in my view, I think it's a bit unfair, really. Because
Do you think
I feel like
your alarm's going off, Joey?
Right, but you know, sometimes that's hard to do. You know, sometimes, you know, I know subs are put on to make an impact, right? I understand that, but sometimes not all the players can do what you want to do, because the game can plan out so differently, because Southampton were attacking, they almost won it nearly, with their header from Vendigard. But anywho,
Vestergaard, yeah.
Vestergaard, that's the one. But I just feel like that if he would just let him know after the match and say, look, we're gonna work on your counter attack, we're gonna work on this and that and this and that, and then be a bit harsh.
One thing I would argue with that, though, Joey, one thing I would got to argue against that, though, is that, waiting till the end of the game, sometimes, you miss your chance. The game was still going. Tuchel thinks the game was there for the taking. It ends a point. I think that's maybe too late. And we could, as you say, we could have lost the game. If we lost the game, then he would have really regretted his decision. He would have been like, oh, well, Hudson Odoi wasn't working. Why didn't I take him off then? I should have changed it for the team, So that's one argument.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's all well and good saying wait until after the game, but if you can see a problem in the team and you have, you look at your bench and you say, well, I could potentially fix this problem, you're not just going to be like, well, I did just sub him on, so I'll just leave him on. I don't, that's not a winning mentality there. And I feel like, yes, it's a bold and maybe harsh decision, but in the top flight games, these decisions have to be made. You'd expect them to. You really should expect more decisions like this to be made in the top flight when you're trying to win games.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying though, Joey. I mean, sometimes there's two sides of it, but I personally believe that it was strong management.
No,
However, go on.
Yeah, it's bold, and it's a bold decision. But like I say, I feel if my manager did that to me, I would just feel really like, embarrassed, and then I'll be like, well, hang on, like he may have tried doing what he was asked to do, but okay, yeah, I understand, like, they could have lost that game, they could have.
But he said energy and attitude wasn't there. So how can you try to put energy and attitude in there? Like, it's just, do you know what I mean, and not put it in. It's one of the things. If you're trying, you inherently have. If you're trying your hardest, you're inherently giving that correct attitude and the right energy. That's pretty much a given. So what Tuchel is basically saying is he hasn't done the basics. That's the difference.
Yeah, it can go either two ways. Be interesting how it goes from here.
From an occurrence of it, though, I hope he doesn't do this to other players, because I feel like that's kind of like a Jose Mourinho style thing as well.
Well, Mourinho did it with Mata, didn't he? Before
talking about players,
I mean, yeah, I think. Well,
you know what I mean. I just fear that they may be. I don't want Tuchel to be that outspoken person like Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho really did like kill players with his words.
I don't think he will. I think Mourinho definitely took that further, but I don't think Tuchel will. I think he's a very respected, even though it's been it's only 2 weeks. I think that he is quite respected in that dressing room. A lot of players have responded to him coming in. His early days, but I think that's the sign to take from now on. And Hudson Odoi, he could just get better from this. Hopefully, he's not one of those players who will just kind of like turn against the manager, because I know a lot of players do that. So he's taking a big risk. He is taking a big risk. There's no denying that. It can go either way. When you bring a player on, take him off before the end of the game, it can either derail them or really motivate them. So it's a big risk from him.
For a winning player's mentality, it should motivate him.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I
think we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, because when Joe, when you're sort of saying if your manager did that, I mean, no disrespect to your manager when you're playing for local football teams, but I don't know, under managers I've played for, I'd never really got that sort of. You get brought off or brought on. You're never really told why. it's like that's the difference. I feel like in the top flight club, they're obviously going to explain why and talk to you about it. And so I feel like that's also a big difference between local clubs and professional clubs.
Of course, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But it's just I just feel like it's just I think it's a bit harsh.
The interesting thing is, guys. Sorry to cut you off there, Joey. The interesting thing is, I'm reading an article which was released an hour ago, now saying Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel has praised Callum Hudson Odoi's reaction after he was substituted after only playing 31 minutes of the 1-1 draw with Southampton. So by reading that, he's apparently had a good reaction to it.
Well, there you go. You just proved your point.
Well, I mean, it's come out an hour ago. But as I say, it could have gone either way. I think Danny Murphy, I was listening to earlier, he said that it could have.
Like it's all to do with the mentality of
the
player. But if he's shown a strong mentality and going, right, okay, I know what I've done wrong here. I will improve on this. Then. That's good. That's great, but like you say, it could have gone either way. It could have been like, I'm devastated. I don't know what to do. I'll feel low now.
Yeah.
That's where they will talk to you. Yeah. The team, the manager will talk to you, and they will make you feel better. And he said I'm pretty sure he said in an interview after the game that he would Hudson Odoi will get his chance again.
In midweek.
I think in the next game. In midweek. Games. So he said that. So there is. It's not like he's just tossed him to the side and he's never going to come back in the team. He pretty much said, look, you wasn't doing what was asked of you, and I don't take that as a player to be on the pitch. Like, if you're not doing what's asked of you, I will take you off regardless of you being a sub. You will get your chance again though, so don't worry about that. And I feel like the risk and payoff. The risk. Sorry, go on.
I mean, he's only 21 years old. He's got a lot of time on his side. And I feel like, of course, he's going to be given opportunities. I mean, I think he's going to be a future star. He's already becoming into that mould, I feel like. But obviously, he needs to work on, his counteracting and work on his attitude and his energy. But I think that's also down to the management as well, because you've got to keep an eye on the energies of the players. You've got to keep that in control. You've got to keep the energy levels, good for the player and also good for the team. You know what I mean? And know that their energy levels are going to be great. But the attitude, again, that's also, yes, that's built within us, as an individual, the attitude is. But also, attitude can be natured and nurtured, I feel, it's natured.
But maybe this is a way of him trying to nurture his attitude correctly.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, if it pays off, it's really good because he's basically saying to every single sub that gets on the pitch, you don't have a freebie for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
When you get on that pitch, you have to play accordingly to what he's asking you to do. Otherwise, you will just be taken off again. And so it actually could really work out well because I'm not saying all subs do this, but there might be cases where substitutes, once they realise they're a sub, they may not prepare as properly for a game. They might just feel, I probably won't come on, or if I do, I'll be on for a little bit and I won't be coming off. So there's not as an incentive to really motivate themselves. But now, once they realise what they can still be taken off the pitch, it might force them to always have the correct attitude, even if they're a sub.
Yeah.
Coming into a game.
Yeah.
We don't see it a lot, do we?
Everyone plays their part of the team. Everyone's part of that team. So it's understandable. You've got to have that winning mentality. You've got to have that attitude where, right, I'm going to make it. The manager's picked you to go and do a job for him, and you got to have that mentality to say, right, I'm going to do the job for him. I'm going to do this. But at the same time, I just feel like, I feel it's a bit harsh, but reading that, it's the article that Josh just mentioned there. I guess he's got a positive reaction. Obviously, he now knows and everything.